Please rise for the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. For those of you that are here today, thank you for attending. For those that are watching out there, thank you for being part of our meeting today. It doesn't appear that it will be a very long one, but there again, it'll still be a meeting. So we'll get started. We've got Lisa here with polling sites, I believe. Lisa Witt from our clerk's office.
I really don't want to come and ask you to do this today. I just want my stance to be kind of known on that. On April the 28th, the election board met for our public test to get our machines programmed, and that's all been done and we're ready to go. However, there has been some concern by party chairs. They're having trouble finding poll workers. So with that being said, the Secretary of State and the Indiana Election Division have given election boards the option to combine their polling places as long as they have a unanimous vote, and the election board did do that. I did express my concern because I'm concerned with social distancing. We're putting more people into less places. So the election board wants to move, I believe we had 9 places, 2 of them are staying the same. So we're going to go from 18 down to 11 polling places. With that being said, you would have, I've got it in front of you, but Connorsville 2 and 3 would both be at Peace Lutheran Church. Connorsville 1, 4, and 5 will all stay here at the courthouse. Connorsville 6 and 7 will be at the East Central Education Center. Connorsville 8, Harrison 1 and 3 will be at Park Road Christian Church. Harrison 2, Harrison 4, Harrison 5, and Harrison 6 will all go to the Miller Building. Harrison 7, Harrison 8, and the Posey Township will go to Harrisburg Union Church. Jackson and Columbia will go to Everton Volunteer Fire Department. Waterloo and C11 will go to Baptist Temple. Connorsville 9, 10, and Jennings will go to Cross Point Church. Fairview and Orange will continue to go to Glenwood Fire Department, and C12 and C13 will go to New Heights Church.
Okay, Lisa, and we need a motion to approve these polling sites, correct?
Yes, and then also we will be moving early voting, which starts on the 26th from the courthouse up to the Miller Building.
I'll move to approve the changes in polling places.
I'll second the motion.
It's been a motion made and seconded that we approve the change in the polling sites and polling numbers. Is there any questions?
Might add, if you want to be a poll worker, if you call me at the clerk's office, I will give you the party chair's numbers. So just be patient with us because we're going to be putting a lot more people in a lot less places. Of course, we have a lot of absentee by mail going out. They're hoping that will curb it some. I don't know. Going to depend on voter turnout.
Now, did you say that the 30-day absentee voting prior to election day will be held at the Miller Building instead of the
Yes,
courthouse?
and it's only going to be a week. It's going to be a week long.
It's going to be a week. Okay.
May 26th through the 1st. Yeah. And the one Saturday before. Don't have that date in front of me, but that'll be the Miller Building as well. Thank you. And I know you guys have expressed some concern too, that you're concerned with decreasing as well. So
I'm very much concerned.
This is a concern for me as your clerk and for your commissioners. We're having to do this, but at the same point in time, we're also required by law to have so many poll workers, so.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
2 ayes. Thank you, Lisa.
you.
Thank you for all your work with this. It's
You're very welcome.
been an uphill battle.
Thank you.
Matt, we'll go ahead with you.
I can give you some information to share with you basically on our confirmed cases in Fayette County. Right now, we are at 30. Also, we have 20 what they're calling clinical cases. Clinical cases are being reported through the state. These are patients that are diagnosed based on symptoms. So there's no actual test. They just are showing symptoms. So they are also being reported to us. There's very poor guidance at this time on what to do with the clinical patients, track them or not. That we are tracking as best we can all the clinical patients as well as we are tracking the confirmed cases. The testing is going to start at the Armory through the State Department of Health and OptumServe. That testing will start tomorrow. And individuals must have symptoms or be a close contact of a confirmed COVID-19 patient to get tested. If the patient has insurance, they will need to take their insurance card. Because insurance will be there will be no charge if the patient does not have insurance. So they can't get it. But they cannot just show up. They have to call to register. It's 1-888-634-1123. So you have to have an appointment to get this.
Excuse me, Matt. Is our public health care workers and our public safety workers, are they still going to the hospital for testing, or will they be going
Yeah, they're still
up there at the Armory?
they're still capable of can go through the hospital. Reed Health Respiratory Clinic is still operating on east side in their building, so you can still go through the roof. This is just another option. So the Reed Health Clinic, the respiratory clinic is still operating, and you can go through the Reed Health Now app or call them for an appointment. So you still can go.
But don't go to the Armory.
No,
The healthcare workers, can they?
they can go through if they qualify, they can go through the Armory as well. But they also would have to call.
Okay.
Just an update on PPE. We're still scheduled for deliveries from the state. We haven't been getting them. We have pretty much getting most of our PPE out to nursing homes and stuff like that. And also the fire departments and anybody else in medical fields that have requested it. They are now charged with pretty much getting it on their own. If they can't find any, they can contact us and we can help find a distributor to find protective equipment. So that's basically where we are now. The state says that they are still distributing. They're going to distribute directly. So we're told that they're going to distribute directly to nursing homes. Like that. So,
Well, that takes some workload off of you.
Yeah, your office. So if anybody's having problems, contact us. We'll do what we can to help find a supplier. So we are monitoring the governor's reopening plans and all the confusion that comes along with it. So Bruce has put together a packet for every restaurant, business in town, and he's going around hand delivering it with guidelines on opening for restaurants. Where at this time they're going to be allowed to open Monday at 50% capacity, and the guidelines state that the employees wear masks. So the employees at the restaurants that serve you will be wearing masks. There was some recommendations that talk about the customers wearing masks. It's kind of hard to eat for a mask, so that didn't make a whole lot of sense. But then all the stage 2 guidelines, we've had some I had to deal with a business yesterday that tried to open, and we went up and closed them down twice now, and I've learned a little bit more information about keeping those businesses closed that aren't allowed to be open. And I've shared that with local police, sheriff, prosecutor on the actual statute of their place. You know, keep the place closed. They didn't want to cooperate.
Okay.
So, but it seems to be everybody's cooperating now. We've had great success out of all our local, for the most part, all our local businesses and restaurants. So I think everybody's excited to be getting back to some kind of normalcy.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any questions for Matt?
Matt, the testing that's going to be done up at the Armory, do you have any idea what they're charging for those tests?
I do not, so I'm not sure what the tested charge is, but like I said, the only information I had at this time was that they do bill insurance. So, but if you have insurance, you can bill it to your insurance. It's going to be it is a swab, the swab, the nasal swab, not the blood draw.
Anything else?
The 20 pending tests that
The 20
that's been waiting on.
clinical, they're called clinical.
Okay, but didn't we have 20 tests that we were waiting on results?
Okay. I'd have to run that number. I can keep those numbers. I don't know that.
Okay. All right.
But I know you mentioned the 20 clinical patients that we were assuming were just based on symptoms on COVID cases.
Yeah, I know the clinical cases, they say, okay, yeah, you may have had it, may not. We really don't know. You kind of show symptoms, so we're just going to mark you down as COVID case. You know, the actual, the last time I talked to Megan, the actual
Ones that were being tested.
tests that had been done, we were waiting results. That could be where we picked up 2 additional confirmed cases on the account. I'm not sure. I thought I'd ask you about that.
Those aren't numbers that she gave me.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Matt.
you.
I appreciate the update. Jalissa, you're out there. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I had attended the last commissioners meeting by Zoom regarding the Fayette County Transit Grant that the Fayette County Senior Center applies for every year. And I had sent those documents on. There was a ton of certifications and assurances and pass-through agreements. And I had forwarded those to Jane, and she had forwarded them on to the attorney to look at. And he has given his approval for all of those. And so I have a bunch of documents that need signatures. But today, what I need is an authorizing resolution. And I believe that you have it there in front of you. Resolution number 20-R-3. And what this does is just allows us to go ahead and submit the application. And the reason we didn't do that last meeting is we were simply waiting on the attorney to okay everything.
Okay.
Was that our attorney, or
Yes, yes.
you find everything okay on it?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty boilerplate stuff. I mean, not a lot of things you need.
I'll move to pass the resolution 20-R-3.
Second. Motion made and seconded that we approve resolution 20-R3. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that all you had today?
That is it for today.
All right, thank you.
They don't, of the 20 tests, 2 were positive, 8 were negative.
2 positives and 18 negatives. Okay, that's a good ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, man. Okay, I skipped over, I want to get those 3 out of the way.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to move back to.
Yeah, I'll second. Move to approve the minutes of our last meeting.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented of our last meeting. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Michael's not in here. He's, Judge, did you have anything for us today, or you just?
I didn't,
I'll
Taylor, I'm
observe
just
it.
here spectating.
Okay, all right. Jeff, do you have anything for us?
Not today.
I forgot to ask Jay, did he say anything about Butler on that road up there?
Right, he was in earlier today, but the subject didn't come up.
I didn't know whether he had talked to you about it, whether Butler had got back with him or not. on That road, 650, was it 600? Up in
650 west.
All right. Any mail? We did receive the study from DLZ. I think everyone has received a copy of it. Hopefully, as our meetings open up to a few more people, we can have DLZ down here to make a proper presentation of it, maybe a little better understanding of it. I have read through it. I'll keep my opinion.
Yeah, well, as soon as it's possible to have them give a presentation on it, I think we should, and I'm sure everyone will have lots of questions about it. So right now, I think it's too early to schedule anything with them.
Yeah.
I would say maybe
Our first meeting in June, every year, so
June or July, whenever.
So, any other old business?
For old business, I do have a question for our attorney. Were you able to communicate with Steve Squires on the Winding Creek?
He has not gotten in touch with me.
Okay,
He gave me my cell phone number and I've not heard from him.
okay, all right.
He might let know he's welcome to call that anytime. Don't stress about during the day or work day or anything like that. He can call anytime.
Okay, well, I did give him your number. I hadn't heard anything back from him, so I didn't know if you two had communicated or not.
I haven't heard from him.
Okay, answers that question.
Anything else? Something that has been discussed before, we talked about it before. I received an email from there's a husband and wife that's been taking care of some of our beds, our landscaping beds out here. They'd like to give up that responsibility. It's become too much for them. And bring it up again that volunteers, it's just hard to come by volunteers to take care of stuff like that. I wonder if we want to try to solicit a landscaper to possibly take care of those beds and redo them as more of a bed that will be good for once a year, or maybe twice a year service.
I think you might be able to let human directions take care of it.
It'd be a good project. Wouldn't take them long.
City Council.
Teresa.
Teresa Combs. Okay, yeah, I remember seeing her and her husband out there working on it. So they've decided they don't want to do it anymore. Okay,
We would like to thank him for doing it.
Yeah.
It is an easy job.
Commissioners, if I may, the city last night brought up the idea of they're going to do some things downtown. Maybe you can coordinate with them. Maybe they can help with that project. You know what I mean?
Do you know who is heading that up?
I think the mayor take pretty strongly on that. Yeah.
I can check with the mayor and see what's going on with them. But it sure be nice to be able to do something professionally with them that only needs once or twice a year maintenance, that somebody doesn't have to be out there every week weeding it or whatever.
well, they're there.
We don't spend any money on our landscape, as you can see out there. To speak of, I really think we could do a better job, a more professional job.
If I may, I think it's a great idea to have probation be a community service, community corrections be a community service, even inmates potentially working on those. But just keep in mind, there has to be somebody generally supervising. So sometimes that creates more work for people that could be doing other things than it's worth their time. So something to keep in mind. But I do think those are viable options potentially and good ideas.
Well, that supervision is built into community corrections budget. They,
Right.
you know, they're used to doing it. So if they can pick that up, that's fine. If not, we find something else, some other way to take care of it.
I just wanted to pass that on. I got that email this last week. I wanted to get right on it because they'll get away from us if we don't get somebody on it.
Well, if the weeds get too high, then you round up.
I didn't come here to speak at all. I came to listen, but I didn't think I could add something here. Transportation issues is a lot of the community corrections problem with staffing and getting to the van and taking them somewhere. Number one, obviously, we don't have transportation issues, half a block. Number two, the areas you're talking about are on cameras. Cameras which are accessible for community corrections on their computer.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure your low risk offenders couldn't just be sent over here and they'd be on the camera the whole time they're walking over here, the whole time they're pulling vehicles, the whole time they're walking back. I would think it would be a low effort thing to get community correction to deal with that. Now, whether those yahoos up there are going to be good at tending to them flowers and making them look good, that's a whole nother matter. But they can sure pull a weed out.
Yeah. You're not volunteering to.
I'd kill them for sure.
Okay. All right. We'll leave you out of it.
Now, let's clarify that. The weeds or the flowers
I'd
or
kill it
the
all. I'd round up the whole thing and see what happens.
Okay. All right. Any other old business? If none, we'll move on to our new business. I think what we have to look at today primarily, we need to look at the governor's reopening plan, what our intent is with the courthouse, whether our intent is to remain closed to the public, whether it's to open up, and if so, what kind of plan do we have? In order to do that, I read through his reopening plan and his orders, and he's given that latitude to the city and county governments to do as they deem necessary. Do you understand it the same way, Jim?
I do.
Okay. Because we definitely don't want to do anything against what the governor wants us to do. And I think he's given us that latitude to make those decisions. I don't know.
We can be more stringent,
We can't be less.
but we can't be more relaxed than his current orders are. And they're gonna change again next Monday. Go to phase 3, Monday the 11th, right? I'm sure that's what it says. So there's gonna be a further relaxing on May the 11th. It's gonna include, restaurants and, beauty shops, tanning salons, that sort of thing.
There's steps to stage 2. And stage 2 happens between May 4th and the 23rd. Stage 3 does not begin until May 24th.
Okay.
I think there was a week after stage 2. If they could make it any more complicated, they did.
Yes.
I think there was a week after stage 2 opened that new things could happen. They didn't trigger a new stage, but it.
Okay.
We're still encouraged under stage 2 to all at risk, high risk patrons should remain out of the public. The 65 and older and any health issues are asked to continue to hunker down. But there is some opening this week and next week there's some more and so on. But yeah.
And to make it clear, City Councilwoman Barrett last night brought the great website that I was actually aware of. It's called backontrack.in.gov, and they're doing a pretty good job of kind of giving it. If local business owners have questions about what they can do, that's a good guidance tool. Thanks, Gary.
Set up in table form.
Yeah,
Short form line.
kind of lists individual type of businesses and what they're allowed to do and when they're allowed to do it.
That's on track.
So what would be, what's our ideas? Where do we want to go with this?
Well, we talked with the department heads earlier in the day. It's obvious that both our judges and the prosecutor and sheriff have a system of cooperation set up that you guys upstairs think you can handle this without anyone's help. Is that correct, Judge?
That is correct. We've notwithstanding the current crisis, people you're naming there, the 2 judges and myself, the defense senator, and prosecutor Ms. Jones, and the sheriff Lawford, we've always had a good relationship. There's never been anything but that between the 4 of us. So that certainly continues now, and even more so. I don't foresee any problem. We'll work it out. We've already got a lot of it figured out. So I don't perceive any problems on the second floor with that at all.
That leaves us with the main floor here, main floor in the clerk's office. Right now, we are just closed in public, period. The governor's latest order allows us to open up for business under certain restrictions. So my question is, how tight do restrictions need to remain? We want all of our employees and the general public to be careful, for sure. Well, this virus is real, it's out there, and it's not too late for anyone to catch. But there is certainly some business in the courthouse that some people can't do remotely. So it would be nice to have everyone in the building on the same page if that's possible. Mark, what did you gather out of the meeting we had with department heads?
Well, everybody's got their own opinion, but I think that everybody ought to be responsible for their own department. And in the way I believe we ought to go ahead and phase the opening back in somewhere, phase it, close. We'll have it open, and you'll have appointment in there for a week or so, and then as it goes, we'll do some later.
When we first shut down, we set the table up out front here, the main entrance, and had people, if they could leave the business, would put it in mailboxes, and it was, I think we were even at one point even taking temperatures. I think they tried that. But,
Temperature thing plugged up on or something.
yeah. You think, as a soft opening, go back to that process or something different?
I think we could probably rely on people after temperature, ask people, show them okay and everything. If they can take care of the business without coming in, they'll be fine. But if they have to come in, then the office head ought to come down and get them, go do their work and bring them back. And that way we don't have anybody loitering around in the building and nothing like that.
Would you want to take that till maybe the 18th, or Friday the 15th?
Or they'll be like 2 weeks.
That would be, if we did it tomorrow, that would be the rest of this week and all of next week.
Yeah, I think that would.
Or do
Okay.
you want to take it clear to the 22nd, which would include a whole nother week?
Well, we'll have another meeting between then and now.
We would have a meeting the 19th, or we could take it clear to the 19th
Take it to our next meeting
and look at it.
see what happens.
Okay, that'd be the next 2 weeks. Restricted should we call it? Restricted access,
Limited access
limited access.
by appointment only,
Okay.
access by appointment only.
And we want to have anyone manning this table out in the hallway like we did.
Well, if the doors are still locked, if they have to go, if for instance, Jane has someone call and make an appointment, Jane has to come to the door and let them in. And then that way they don't have access to the wandering through the courthouse.
Yeah, and that way it
That's what
wouldn't
I
be on
think
the
Mark
spur of the
said.
moment either.
Yeah.
Somebody can just say, well, I'm gonna go in, and go.
That wasn't the
You
way
never
we started out. Was front doors
No,
were,
it
were,
wasn't.
were unlocked.
It wasn't.
And they could walk in through there. So there's,
But when we closed, they were still able to make an appointment too, early on. When we actually locked the doors. And most office holders chose to meet them. They got with each other and chose to meet them at the door and do the business at the door, right?
That is how some offices have continued all along, yes.
That's how they
How
decided.
did you feel about that, Jane? Was it okay with you that way?
I like the idea of the initial first couple of weeks being limited access by appointment only.
Okay.
I mean, I feel more comfortable with, I mean, it's just like if LaWanda feels comfortable with 5 or 6 people in her office, then she can
If you
She
take
can-
care of that, yeah.
she can allow 5 or 6 people to come in at the same time. But if Jeff at the assessor's office only feels comfortable with 2 people coming in, he can only set up.
Well, it's your office, let them run it.
But yet we still control the number of people wandering around in the common spaces too, by keeping the doors locked, so to speak, open by appointment only. And I don't think we're going to interfere with the courts over the next 2 weeks by doing something like that, are we, Judge? Didn't you say that we'd be all right?
We would be, it was discussed, some courts, typically in Indiana, you're not allowed to restrict public access to courts. Courts are open for just spectators. People don't even have a dog in the fight. Can they come just watch the court? That's actually a fundamental part of constitutional law. However, we have a special order from the Supreme Court in this crisis, giving us the authority to restrict the number of people in the courtroom based on health assessments made by the judge, social distancing, and et cetera. And so we can restrict the number of people coming in, but to also honor the right of access to the courts and to be true to the, to our oaths as judges, we certainly would allow as many as would be healthy
Safe.
to come in. So, and I would do that, and I'm sure Judge Bramstetter would too, even if they didn't have an appointment. We have the phone number posted on the door out there, and they call on the cell phone and say, I want to come see this court session. If there weren't too many in there already, the answer would be yes. I'd send a staff member down to get them. They could view that hearing, and then we'd walk them back out, and that'd be fine. So they wouldn't necessarily even have to call ahead. It would just be yes or no based on how many people were
How
already in
many
there.
people are already in? Yeah. And you said earlier you were gonna try to figure out what best count you could
Yeah,
have
my courtroom obviously is maybe half or
of
even a
certain.
little less than half the size of the circuit court. So it's a different number for he and I.
Yes.
And then also they have suspended the rule of broadcasting. I think it's 48 states just routinely allow the broadcasting of court proceedings on television. Indiana is the exception. I think Oregon is the other state that doesn't allow it. Last I knew, I could be wrong about that. But they suspended that rule as well. So we could set up a YouTube channel, have a camera in the back of the two courtrooms, and just turn it on every time we went on the record. And we could post that on the door too. If you want to see what's going on in court,
Go to this
go on
channel.
your phone if you got a smartphone, or go home on your computer if you don't, and look at it, listen to it as you wish. I mean, that could be done hypothetically. Michael, our IT guy, has been super duper about helping us with some of that. We've been doing drug court with Zoom for 3 weeks now. We've done drug court, so we haven't stopped that.
Good.
We've done initial hearings with direct video link to the jail. We've been doing some initial hearings over there as well, and he's just been great about teching us up on that stuff. So I think we probably could set up I know some of the other courts have been using a YouTube channel, as opposed to Zoom and stuff where you have to send out an invitation.
Mhm.
Because this is a different thing. Courts, I say, are just generally open. People can just walk in off the streets because they're bored and watch court if you want to.
Okay.
That's the normal constitutional standard. So you set up a YouTube channel and you just turn it on.
So Fayette County could have their own court TV.
We could have our own court TV if we wanted to. That's right. I mean, that could be done if there's an issue or somebody wants to make an issue of it. I think that can be done. Yeah.
Okay, great.
That might open up new opportunities for you.
Oh, yeah, you think I'm gonna get a contract with cable TV or something?
Well, you never know. Someone in Hollywood may watch you and they say, hey, that's the guy we want.
Hey, I'm telling you what right now, Dale, what kind of money those guys make. See you later, alligators.
Yeah, it'd probably pay more for sure. Yeah.
I remember the year Judge Wapner made more money than the Chief Justice of the United States.
Really?
Yeah, that was a big joke among attorneys.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your input, Judge.
Sure.
So, Mark, you're thinking, if I understand you right, let's keep the doors locked, but yet
Back
open
out
to the public,
same way we came in.
and ask the public to make appointments, call and make appointments, and with the office that they have business with. You'd like to see this done until the our next meeting, which would be the 19th, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we would readdress it at that point in time.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
The motion made.
Okay, access by appointment
Um,
only until May 19th. Okay, I'll second that.
Okay. Been a motion made and seconded that we grant access to the public buildings by appointment only. Beginning, I'm assuming tomorrow, start time, till May 19th. This will be essential business only, by appointment only. We ask that you call and the respective office and set up an appointment to meet with them ahead of time. And our goal is to limit the number of people in the courthouse and in the county buildings at a time, so that we can prevent any spread of the virus. We hope that we can keep it out of our building. We've done a great job so far. Buildings. Is there any other discussion on that motion?
Hopefully, these next 2 weeks will show that our positive cases aren't growing exponentially. We picked up 2 more positives in the last 2 weeks. And maybe in the next 2 weeks, we won't have any at all. That would certainly be a good sign. So this is going to be call this a slow approach. But we certainly don't want to do anything to cause our numbers to explode. So when Matt was in, he coming back a while ago and said, out of the 20 pending tests they had out, they had 2 positives and 18 negatives. That's a good sign. That was too many, but it could have been a lot worse. So I think I got to credit the general public here in Fayette County for being careful and keeping our numbers down compared to some of our surrounding counties, because you go down to Greensburg, it's awful. But we're doing a lot better than a lot of places. I think because it is not too late to get this virus to come out too quick, too fast.
Start all over.
Yeah, none of us want to back up and start all over on this thing again. So let's give it a couple of weeks at this rate and see how it goes.
Do we want, as a board, to add to that motion that we encourage our employees and our customers that come in to wear masks? Strongly encourage that.
Sure, we should encourage it, which is always going to be optional. But by wearing a mask, the life you save may be your own. You never know.
You never know. Okay. Any other discussion or questions? All in favor?
All right.
All right.
3 ayes. Effective tomorrow's date, our courthouse will be reopened, or our county buildings will be reopened to the public for essential business only. Will be by call-in appointments only. So we please ask you, all of you, to be patient with our office holders, and as we get back into the swing of doing one-on-one business. And we thank you for your patience thus far.
I got on this whole subject, I got a question for the judge. Is, after today's meeting we had at noon, is it fair to assume that come June 1st, that both courts plan to start resuming somewhat normal activity?
That's the goal, Commissioner Strong. The Supreme Court is taking a tack, not unlike your own that you just expressed there a moment ago. They're setting goal dates, and that is the current goal date. That is the expectation, June 1st. But they do, like you just said, we're going to see how it goes, and it's subject to change based on negative circumstances, as this statewide opening rolls out, they may change their mind based on facts on the ground. But yes, right now, as we sit here, that's what we're shooting for. Jury trials in June and everything less than that, the whole rest of the array of court services. Yes.
Okay, then, so anything we do pertaining to the building, we should try to coordinate that certainly with the operations of the court.
No doubt about it. Yes.
Not do anything that hampers what you guys are trying to do, but I know you're gonna have to interview jurors and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah.
You-
But right now, and I don't know, obviously, the Chief Justice and her advisors do as they wish. Nobody asked me. But I think it would be very peculiar for them at this moment, first week of May, to order anything sooner than what they've already ordered. In other words, I don't see them coming out with an order later this week saying, we're going to back that jury trial goal date of June 1st backwards into May. I don't see that happen. They may well, based on the data that comes out, move it back farther into June, farther into June,
Or even into July.
or in
1st.
July, or whatever the data suggests. The Chief Justice has been very clear, has been mirroring what the governor is saying. Obviously, they're speaking to one another. And it's all data based. And there, you just made that comment a moment. You're going to roll it out slow and see how it goes. And then you just have to adapt to the circumstances as you see them on the ground.
Sure, yeah,
So, yeah. But right now, that's what's on paper, June 1st.
okay. As long as the data looks good,
As long as situation proceeds as we hope it will.
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll
Just keep us updated on that.
Yeah.
June 1st date.
I'll do that. And as things here in the next few weeks return to normalcy, obviously I'm going to start seeing your county attorney more frequently. I hadn't seen him in quite some time. It's good to see you.
You can feed it through him and
Yeah.
let him know.
Let you know what's going on.
All right, great. Anything else on that subject? Anything needs to be addressed from a legal standpoint
I don't think so.
on that subject?
No, I think we're
Does our current COVID-19 employee policy, do we have intentions on keeping it in place that we placed at the beginning for employees and their needed time off or working?
I'd say keep it in place for now.
I can't think of any reason to change anything there right now. I know if you talk to employees, you talk to 10 employees, you're gonna have 10 different
Opinions
opinions. So,
or demands, whichever.
yeah, I wouldn't suggest any changes there either.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure we're clear as a board where we want to go with it. So, moving on, I see Betty has joined us by Zoom. Betty, you was on our department agenda. You're muted.
I can't hear you, Betty.
There you go. Is that
Yeah.
better?
Yeah, that's better.
Thank you. I'm still pretty new to this Zoom stuff. We have an office situation where out front, when this building was built, there was nothing in the plan for a partition between the reception desk and the public. Those were built into the court offices. We've not had one. Now it's become even more of a concern. I saw it as a security concern before, but now it's a health and security concern. I have talked with Adrian Ellis, who sent an email about there being grant funds available to possibly do something with that. And I was hoping to meet with him in the next couple of days to get an idea of what could be done there. I'm not exactly much about construction, so I'm willing to take, or design for that matter, I'm willing to take suggestions. But my idea would be that we would make our office much the same as the court's office in terms of having a lockable door between us and the public once they enter our front door, which is lockable, but we can't talk with anyone that comes in the office that way. It would also then create a window that would be, in our meeting earlier, Commissioner Naylor mentioned that the little access in the screen doesn't help much because we're at eye level with the access when we're sitting at our reception desks. But find something, maybe even a sliding door like the court has, that we can use to restrict contact between us and people from the outside, both for COVID and for general security.
Okay, Betty, you're talking about the entrance to the prosecutor's office. You would like to reconfigure to be very much like what it's like in the circuit court?
Okay, well, what do you think?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly.
That wouldn't take a whole lot of doing to do that.
But it would be ideal to do it now when there's grant funds available,
Yes.
was my thought.
May be available.
Well, we can certainly seek them, I would hope. I would think that the biggest concern of mine would be that, we don't want to, this is a beautiful building and we don't want to be doing anything halfway that makes it look less than what it is. We have one door here in the office that separates that area from the biggest part of our office, kind of the middle room, that we could sacrifice and just take that door out of that frame and put it forward and just have a walkway there. So that was my biggest concern, because I don't know how, all the doors look so nice matching and all. I want to make sure that it looks like it was something that was designed that way rather than someone just came along and put up something that didn't go with it.
Betty, is it out of the question to create something like the clerk's office has at their child support window and payment window, having a window out into the hall from your reception?
I don't know. That's kind of what I know that we need to do something. It'd be great to have something, but I don't know.
Is there any
what that
reason why
is.
those people couldn't stand out in the hall and transact business? Or
Well,
is there
the
a
first
privacy
thing
issue?
that's what comes to mind. Not only in the criminal cases, but more federally regulated in our child support cases. We actually have to go over our guidelines for confidentiality and privacy every year and get certified, everyone that has anything to do with child support. And that's probably the most of our traffic. So to have them standing in the hall and discussing that, the federal audit that we take part in every year would go berserk. They are right now requiring that we buy a shredder that makes smaller pieces. And their guidelines change and get more stringent. So we have a wonderful crosscut shredder, but it's not enough because someone might come along and glue those back together or something, I guess. So I think that they would go crazy if we had a window where we asked people to discuss their cases through it.
I guess my suggestion would be maybe let's get Bill to get a contractor in here and look at some of Betty's ideas and let him do some drawings and some
See what comes up with.
calculations, and then we'll go from there. We do have in the cum cap under building construction, we have approximately 47,000 in that line item. In remodeling, we've still got the full 100,000. So appropriated money is not a question.
Well, now's the time to do it. I think.
Yeah.
Betty, did you say that the EMA director there was a possibility of grant money being available for this project.
Yes,
Okay,
which we should look into, anything we can get.
yeah.
There-
I appreciate,
There's reimbursement funds that are being somewhat promised to the cities and counties. However, most likely we're gonna be on the bottom of the totem pole, the money tree. And if that money tree runs dry, we'll be the ones that will be shortchanged on it. So if you depend on a grant to pay for this, we may be waiting for a long time. I would suggest that we go ahead and keep it as part of our COVID record keeping that we've started, so that we can file at the time for those reimbursements. And if we are so lucky to be reimbursed for them, then we'll put the monies back in those line items that we've spent.
And at the same time, if the EMA director can do a grant, why not let him do that?
Oh,
Yeah.
but that grant he's talking about is the same one I'm talking about, that you're to keep a running file of everything you spend on COVID-19. And I'm familiar with the grants that Adrian was talking about.
So you're saying we could go ahead and pay for it out of QCAP, just to keep those records really good, that it was
Mhm.
COVID related, and then if a grant is made available, we submit all that and reimburse QCAP.
Whether we're paid by year.
Yeah, I mean, because if you wait on whether a grant
May
comes
have a
through or
long
not,
wait.
Right.
you may have a long wait.
And you think someone away.
And Betty wants this done yesterday,
Now,
correct?
oh, as soon as possible would be fabulous.
Judge?
One interjection, just for the good of the order, Commissioner Mayor. 2 years ago, when we were setting up the drug court, the board very graciously approved putting in a half wall and a door just by the holding cell there where the voting machines are now stored.
Yeah.
I would say that project has got to be within 5 or 10% of what Betty's talking about. Having worked in the prosecutor's office for 9 years, I know exactly what she's describing.
Uh-huh.
So if anybody recalls about what that cost, when you put in that wall and door frame and somebody can trace back and look. But that's gonna be within 10%, my guess, what it's gonna cost to do what she's talking.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very similar.
Similar thing.
Very
Yeah.
similar thing. So that would give you a good idea where you're at on that.
And I can't even remember what those.
I was
numbers were.
probably told,
But-
but I don't recall.
It wasn't a great deal that we spent up there.
No, you're talking about 8 metal studs, and she's talking about reusing the pretty door frame and bringing that out to the public face, so that may even be cheaper, because you're gonna reuse the material.
Reuse.
And then, so I gotta think that whatever we spent before on that other deal is gonna be very, very close to what she's asking.
So
Okay, what do we want to do? Put Bill on the design? To try to,
just either them.
yeah, I don't know if he has access to a set of suites catalogs, know what's available or not. I'm sure he's got several sources.
you want to ask Bill to get with a contractor
Yeah, sure.
and
Uh,
the two of them get with Betty, and
Work something out and what we need.
is there a motion in that?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, I'll second that. We'll put Bill to work on it.
Motion made and seconded that we ask Bill to get a contractor to work with himself and Betty on designing a more secure reception area for her office and bring those numbers back to us, hopefully by the next meeting. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Betty.
Thank you all.
Is that all you had for us today, Betty?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other new business? I'll entertain a motion to pay claims and payroll then, as presented.
I'll move to approve claims and payroll.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve claims and payroll as presented. All in favor? Signify by saying aye. 3 ayes. While we're signing, I might make the announcement for those that aren't aware. We did apply for an Okra relief grant to help our small businesses. We did receive that grant, or received word that we've been approved for that grant. That grant will be handled through the joint effort of Economic Development and the Board of Commissioners. And hopefully we'll find out more details on that in the coming days on how that's going to be handled.
Well, I can tell you this much, as a member of EDG, myself and Dan Parker and probably one or two other board members will be actually handling the application process for that grant. So, and there's only the grant award is for $250,000. And it'll go quick. I mean, there's going to be more need out there than we have money for, but we will distribute $250,000 to locally owned businesses that have been severely impacted or negatively impacted by the effects of this coronavirus shutdown. So it's going to take probably close to 30 days to get things going. As soon as that can be done, I think the Chamber of Commerce is going to actually facilitate in the, letting the local business members know that this grant has been made available and that they should, submit their applications. So if you don't submit an application, you for sure won't get anything. So we'll ought to have that thing up and running by the end of this month, I think.
Okay. That's gonna be first come, first served.
Yeah, pretty much. First come, first served. But it's intended for locally owned businesses. And if you're a multi-million-dollar chain operation, it's not. That's not the intent of this grant for the local mom and pop operations.
Hey, does that count monkey business?
No, it doesn't count monkey business. I know that's the kind of business you're in. This is it. That's the 17th resolution. Oh, okay,
January did have a sign.
okay. This last claim. I've got one other thing here. We could take care of it now or later. It doesn't make any difference, really. If you remember back March 17th, we appointed Ed Harrell to the Alcoholic Beverage Commission. We never did give him a certificate of appointment. So we had the county clerk to fill one out for him, and it needs our signatures. So if you guys want to sign on this, we want a printed name and our signature and the date. So, yeah.
Brand new appointment. Alcohol. Just existing.
Well, the appointees have to swear an oath. And the state issues this 2-page form that somehow or another has just slipped through the cracks. So since we actually appointed him on March the 17th, what kind of date we want to put over this? We can put today's date. Doesn't make any difference, I guess.
I'll follow you.
All right, we'll go with today's date then. We'll run this up to the clerk's office after the meeting. Well, she's still there. Didn't realize it was getting late.
It's on.
Oh, I was looking at that clock on the wall.
Somebody needs to spend some money on that.
I
Don't
just
go
say,
by the hat.
I think it's the. I agree to. 25 after 4 since it started. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys. I'll take this upstairs in a few minutes.
Say everything.
You have anything else, Jeff? Not Jay?
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second. Wait,
One thing real quick, for a guy that didn't come here and say anything, I sure have thought of it a lot. I'm sorry about that.
You have got a lot to say today.
I didn't plan on saying anything.
It's because you've been so cooped up.
I guess that's it. I'm sorry about that. But I just want to say we got COVID hit right when we were to have our first graduates from the drug court. So all our efforts are now starting to pay off. And in fact, over this 2 months, we've stacked up a few, and we now have 7 people graduating from drug court Thursday morning. We're going to do it in circuit because it's bigger and we can spread out better in there.
Great.
And that'll be the first in-person session we have. It's going to be for a great time because 7 people have completed our program. So I just wanted to get that out there and let people know this is our first graduation.
The drug court has worked.
It is working. Very pleased.
Great. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time and effort that you put into that. It's taken a lot to get it up and running.
A lot of work before you get any payoff.
Yes, yeah. So with that in mind, and if there's nothing else, there's been a motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Meeting is now adjourned.